Hi, I'm Sara Levin, the Artful Inker, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm here to share with you my process video for making my beautiful bouquet kind of rustic farmhouse chic card. So we're going to start with a layer of Very Vanilla that I've cut to 4 inches by 5 1/4. I've got a little bit of glycerin on my block here and mint macaron ink, and we're just going to sponge all over. We're going to take a light bit of the glycerin, and you're not looking to saturate your card, just give a quick, easy coating of it on here. It will help the ink move. So now sponging in the mint macaron, starting off the cardstock and then beginning to swirl on. And I'm going to do my entire piece with the mint macaron. The reason for sponging on color is that you get a different tonal saturation with sponging than if I had used a piece of mint macaron cardstock. Blending on a layer of color will take some time, which is fine because it allows you to get the tone that you are looking for. You just keep starting at the edge and working in circles and continuing along the entire piece. Next, I'm going to use the hardwood stamp with soft suede. Using my hardwood stamp face up, I ink it up in soft suede, place my cardstock over it and a piece of scrap paper, and rub. The scrap keeps me from getting ink all over my hands. Next, I'm going to create the vase to go with my flowers using the wooden cup from Coffee Cafe, and I'm going to ink that in soft suede on a scrap piece of Sahara sand. When I ink photopolymer stamps instead of tapping, I set my stamp on the ink, keeps me from picking up ink on the edges. I didn't quite get ink everywhere. One little blank spot. And stamp and hold. And there's one spot that doesn't seem to be transferring, so I'll slide it off the table and give it a rub underneath the cardstock without moving anything. And there we go. Next, I'm going to add some Beautiful Bouquet pieces. I'm starting with So Saffron and making sure that I've got the point on the small flower at the top, pointed at the top of the paper, and I'm using it again with Rich Razzleberry, stamping some off. The point up makes sure that pieces are easier to die cut, and the panicle is stamped at full strength and stamped off. Cleaning stamps with my Simply Chamois. Now a little pool party for the smaller cluster, and a stem in Pear Pizzazz. Not exactly sure how I'm going to use these pieces, but giving myself a variety to use for the bouquet I am envisioning creating. Finally, a little rose-like flower in So Saffron and also in Rich Razzleberry. I used the bouquet bunch framelits to cut some pieces and fussy cut others. And now it's time to start and figure out how this fits together. So I'm using these two pieces to sort of guide my size. And I die cut stems out of Pear Pizzazz and these filigree pool party pieces, and start filling in the shape. And the panicles work for nice spiky pieces to help break up the other. And then I'm going to dip some of these filigree pieces slightly into the Pool Party to give them some extra texture in their color. Reminds me of my neighbor's hydrangea that has lots of variegated color on the blossoms. And then I've also begun to stick in some of the Sahara sand spikes. I'm using multi-purpose liquid glue and Stampin' Dimensionals and mini Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm setting my pieces. They're helping me to create some layers in addition to a variety of texture between the Pool Party filigree pieces, the spiky panicles, and Sahara sand grassy pieces. Now it's time to add in some more of the smaller bits and begin some accents. To add some green, I'm going to break apart the leaf pieces. Still tucking pieces in, figuring out what it needs to make this bouquet come alive and create some balance of color and the overall shape. And since it's a rustic bouquet, it doesn't have to be perfect like from a florist. So now it's time to set my vase, and I'm just going to give a little more blue ink to that group of flowers. And I'm going to tie 3 loops of linen thread around my vase and add a small bow. Once it's in place, I'll trim it, and then I'm going to add a mini glue dot going to roll it up so that it won't show behind the small bow, but that'll help to keep it in place. Time to pull the backing off of the dimensionals and add a third one now. And then I'm going to tuck in some flowers along the bottom, as if they've fallen out of the bouquet. It's time to start layering it up. So I'm going to add this focal piece to a piece of soft suede that's cut to leave just a narrow border. And then I've got a rich raspberry base, and I'm going to add a very vanilla layer mat to the inside. And then we need to finish that just a little further. I've got plenty of extra flower pieces and other bits. So this will give it a little finished look. And when using narrow borders, I prefer to glue them rather than dimensional, so that the narrow borders will be seen. And then it still needs a couple of pieces tucked in to finish balancing things. And we'll find the perfect spot for that last yellow flower. And then, yes, it still needs a little something. So going back to where I started at the beginning, I've got my mint macaron and my sponge, and I'm working around the edges to darken this. Again, back to, you can create the tone that you want when you're sponging. And this was just a little too bright around. So I'm working around and checking to see if it needs any other little bits. Tucking in one more piece of the Sahara sand grassy die cut. Well, that finishes the card. You can see close-up pictures of it on my blog, theartfulinker.com. I'll have a link in the description to the blog post. My name is Sara Levin, the Artful Inker. There will also be a product guide for everything that I've used for today's card. And also in the description will be links to the rest of the Creating Kindness video hop. Thanks for stopping by.